So I haven't really talked about the New Zealand shooter. I don't even know his name. I didn't keep up too much with it because when it happened, I wasn't online at the time, and even when I did discover about it, I just figured it was some cringy edgelord. It doesn't involve moderators, so it doesn't involve me. Unfortunately, it does involve moderators because the New Zealand police department, or a detective at least, contacted the Kiwifarms admins about the situation and basically wanted the IP addresses. Not that they'd be able to do much with that, but they wanted the IP addresses of New Zealanders, that just happen to watch the videos or download the videos, and then, to get information. Because in reality, I cannot tell you what they would do with that information or what it would entail or what else they would discover. That's up to them and the investigation. But what I'm telling you is that they wanted that information to aid them in their investigation. And of course, Kiwi Farm mods being mods, were not cooperative. Are they ever? This is why I've always said moderators are terrorists. They at least think like terrorists. They are not stable people. They are not good people. And if that's the best argument you can make, and I would say the more likely argument you can make, is that they are just religiously felons. Like, they exist solely to break the law, or at least attempt to break the law. You should go after the moderators. Don't worry about the other shit. And this guy, I don't even remember his name, Noel. He gave his name to New Zealand police or whatever, because he emailed them back and he gave them his name and his address. And admittedly, he did break down and admit that as moderator, he is liable for all content posted therein and any actions taking thereof of the website. Because I'm paraphrasing, but he said something along the lines of, I posted that content. That is my work. Because you kind of have to. You couldn't bail on, your responsibilities and just give the IP addresses and then be like, oh, I had no say in anything. But then you turn around and ban people, which of course Kiwifarms does, which of course any website does. I'm not saying just Kiwifarms does it. I'm not saying it's only wrong when Kiwifarms does it, but Kiwifarms does do it, and all websites do it, and thereby all websites are liable for that content. Facebook is liable for that New Zealand stream shoot 'em up thing because it was uploaded on Facebook's platform publisher, and thereby it is Facebook's liability. Facebook bans people. Too bad. It is your liability now. The only way to avoid liability would be if you were a neutral entity, aka a platform, and you didn't ban people. But they do. So, too bad for Mark Zuckerberg. Too bad for Facebook mods. And, that's the way the law works. I'm not telling you it should either be one or the other, but it has to be one or the other. What you decide as a nation state to determine the law is up to you and your self-determination as a nation state. You, as a participant in a society, we live in a society, is to determine whether or not you find the website moderators liable for damages, or if they're not liable, but then you should sue the fuck out of them and take them for every cent they're worth, forever, ever banning you or anybody else, because it's harassment, it's defacement, it's bullying, it's wrong, and it's illegal. So you gotta make that decision. You have to make that decision. New Zealand made that decision. That's why they contacted Kiwifarms. Europe has made that decision. Even America has made that decision. They're just not talking about it. But it needs to be talked about. Because now, the Kiwifarms retardation has had a PR effect on New Zealand, because New Zealand police can't do its job because the moderators of Kiwifarms want to be dicks about it. And it's an obstruction of justice. It's an obstruction of their justice to do what they got to do because, Kiwifarms mods think they're badasses. Now, either which way, if the moderators themselves are liable, well then yeah, it wouldn't be legal for them to give that information anyway to to the New Zealand police or whatever. But you could word that differently. And again, he admitted that he is liable for it, and that the only way now that the New Zealand police could pursue anything is if America hands over, Noel to the New Zealand government, which they should. But that's neither here nor there. The point is that a lot of these situations could be avoided if people just knew right off the bat that moderators are liable for all illegal activity online. That's the only way they can legally get away with banning you, with deleting your comments, with doing anything of that sort. Because if they weren't liable, then they would not be able to do that. Because you could not do that to somebody else. It's infringement. It is active seeking out of somebody else and harassing them and meddling in their affairs and committing assault against them. They are assaulting you. They can only assault you under the pretense that you are not a legal fucking entity online with responsibilities and liabilities, and that's why they get to do it. So which is it? Are you a person online or are you not a person online? And nobody is having that discussion, but you got fucking Noel over here who thinks his dick is big and that he is just immune to consequences, because moderators love that word, consequences. That's why you get banned, right? Because you take your consequences for your actions, for shitposting or whatever. Well, motherfucker, maybe Trump needs to sign a little bill and send your ass over to New Zealand and you can rot in jail for 10 years in New Zealand prison. That's what should happen.